To the show again tonight. It's great to have my co-hosts on at Unmuted, where real voices get loud. It's just a great day that we're excited because there's so much going on. Every day is a different day, and every day we make that decision to either be part of it or not. So, with my amazing co-hosts here, Sandy and Jeff, how are you two today?
Absolutely fantastic, but probably a bit tired, but good tired.
I'm not tired. I have my cappuccino in a glass. Yes, I do. It's so designer. I made it myself.
I love it.
I like it. I like it. You know, it's funny because what's been going on recently is I've been running into a lot of people, in our business, I tell people I'm a media company. Simple, easy. Here's some things good for your business. And people I'm finding a lot now, there's a lot going on in the world. And because these are evergreen, we played 20 years ago, we don't need to get anything else. But there's just stuff there, but there's stuff always going on in the world. Um, and there is that point that we get to the decision making and we just either can't get to it or we say no before we know what it is. Um, or because it's a certain genre that we don't understand or a genre we've heard that there's negativity around it, we just get held back. And I want to talk
Mm,
about that today because I think it's really important how people make that decision making. And I'm going to just, from my perspective, 30 years in this industry and meeting a lot of people, the biggest thing I always say, and then I'm going to turn it over to you two, but the biggest thing I always say is we call it ecological. If it's no harm to yourself or others, just say yes. Because when you say yes to something, you're telling the universe that you can take more. Now, what you want to do is you want to really take a look at that's why you have mentors too. Because when you have mentors, you have people to go back to and say, this is or this is not. What I like is, and I'm used to this, is I like to talk to people and I'll say, this is the program, this is what it is. Very simple. I am not linear. I'm a kinesthetic. Does it feel good? Is it something you want to be in? Do you like the team around you? Right? Is good. But I like the ones who just say yes. They're like, yeah, I'm in. I get it. But okay, we'll just play and we'll figure it all out in the next year. Um, and what I'm finding in the last like 4 to 5 months is there's this, I don't know. I need to think about. Can you send me every single thing you can? Like, okay, do you want me to send you like the white paper on it and and I'm running into that more than actually I ever have
mm.
because
Yeah,
for
I
most of
see
my
that as well.
career, you see that as well. So talk
Yeah,
about it. Tell me a little what you guys see and what your thoughts are on this.
Personally, what I think is it's a lot of overwhelm. People
yeah.
have just been so inundated with material from the internet, from social media, from everything. They're
Yeah.
getting way too much. And it's hard to make choices when you're told that every choice you're making is wrong. Think about social media. You're supposed to eat kale, then you're not supposed to eat kale. Then eat meat. Then don't eat meat. Then if you eat too meat, it's going to kill you. And if you don't eat enough vegetables, it's going to kill you. But if you eat too many vegetables, it's going to kill you. I mean, there's so much back and forth. We're inundated with this stuff that it's really hard to make decisions. And people tend to default to, I don't know, I need to figure it out because that's easier than just
It's
picking a side or
safe.
making a choice. It's safe.
Yeah, it's safe. It's comfortable, right? And I say to all of our people, and I coach a lot of affiliate network marketers in this space as well because for the same reason. And the big thing I keep coming across is I feel our world it's more connected than ever, but it's also more disconnected than ever. And there seems to be that the trust factor, like back in the 1990s or even, before all of what we, have gone through now and changed up the world so many different times. You trusted people more because you're more localized and, that type of thing. But it seems like the trust factor is at an all-time low. And I don't know if it's because people have been definitely overwhelmed for sure. It's got something to do with it. An anxiety response has got something to do with it. But I also think that especially in the online world, like I talk to so many people who have been scammed. Everybody's got a
Yeah.
story now. Like even 10 years ago, to be scammed, it was like you were a fool if you got scammed. But now everybody's got a story. And everybody's got like some sort of horror story or war story, but they stay stuck in that story.
Hmm.
And they use that to color everything else and judge every book by that cover, and so that's been my experience. And so, like, you've almost got to coach people through on, helping them to just discern if self-evaluated wisdom for sure, but almost to coach them through on how to make a decision these days.
Yeah, I see it all the time as well. And the victim mentality is what people are living
Mm,
in because it feels easier. It's like, oh, it's not my fault because this thing happened to me. And the reality is everything is your fault. Every
100%.
choice you make, whether it's good or bad, you did it, you made it. And if you got scammed, whether you knew better or not, you still got scammed because of a choice you still made. I mean,
Right?
look, I recently had my storage unit broken into and they robbed me and I have no idea what they took. All I know is it was a rolling suitcase and two giant containers and it could be very valuable antiques from my grandmother that I inherited, or it could be some old shoes that I don't care about. I have no idea. But it was my
Shown
choice
his
to
cat.
put things in the storage. It was no, it was mostly my stuff. Ken didn't leave anything there. It was my choice to put stuff in the storage. It was my choice to to use that storage place. Everything was my choice. So ultimately, it was my fault. But I don't live in the victimhood mentality, and I don't sit there and go, "Oh my God, what if they took this and that?" You can't worry about it. You have to just move on. And I made new
Yeah.
choices. So
Yeah,
the victimhood doesn't work anymore. It's getting
No.
old.
right.
It's time to move on
It's
from that
almost
story.
like, yeah, us Aussies, I don't know if it's a worldwide saying, but Australia here have a saying, it's like everybody's a snowflake. Like it's it's an offensive thing, and I get it, but it's also, us Aussies like to take the Mickey out of each other. It's an Aussie trait. When we only do it to people we actually care about. I find it figure that out. But it's you're right about that victimhood mentality, and it's almost like people have forgotten how to take ultimate ownership for their stuff, for their
It's
own
true.
BS. And like
It's
I
true.
know when I went through my own life crisis and all that sort of thing, and that's why now ownership and accountability and responsibility is such a big cultural thing that we have in our family, in any of our teams, and essentially it's above the line culture, and we teach that from day one. And I think that is, I don't know, it seems to be becoming a rare thing in society.
Yeah, I
Because
think,
again, it goes back to safety.
yeah. And there is that point too that there's been, it's a mindset change because there is that personal responsibility. And there is that, just take from, buying a course, we bought courses that were great and we spent $25,000 on the worst real estate course in 2008. Think of the timing.
I think I did that too.
Right, and I've ever been, and I'm telling you, and it's okay because then I always go back to, what is one thing you learned from it? Well, I'll tell you, we learned I would never run a course like that, I would never coach like that, there's things that you learn, and it was never in my mindset ever that we're gonna charge back.
Mm.
Never in
Yeah,
my mindset that I want my money back
you're so
because
right. I never thought of that
yeah.
either back then.
You're
Entitlement.
taking you're taking the universe and saying, "You're just not ready to make decisions. So what do you think it's gonna do for you?" And that's from a maturity level and from a decision-making level, it's, as you said, "This is the decision I've made. What it is, it is. What is one thing?" Everybody write this down. What is one thing that you can learn from it? If you
Yeah.
learn one thing from everything you do, you've had a great day. And I can tell you, no matter how good, bad, right, left, there's always one thing to learn. And people get stuck within themselves when they really, they come out of courses or they come out of conferences. I find them incredibly boring. But the way to get through it, right? I don't like to sit still for 5 minutes, anyways. So I want to know, what is one thing that I've learned? What is one thing? Oh, the way the speaker did that, or the way they went on stage, and because I've done so many events, right? It's been, I think, like 2,000 events already that I've done, but I have to also be careful not to be critical. Oh my God, look at the way he walked on stage. Oh, look at the way she presented. Oh, her intro, that was the worst I've ever, I got to stop that part too, because it's about being present.
It's true. It's so
Mm.
funny you said that, Michael. I was recently at an event and they had speakers, and I'm watching this event go down. The speakers were so boring and going, oh, this is torture. This is pure torture. But I did learn things because I said, "You know what? I'm gonna be present as bad as this is," 'cause same as you, I used to work trade shows for a living. I've been to so many events and conventions and spoken on stages, and I've done it all. I've done the gamut. So when I go to these small ones, I'm like, "Oh, this is the worst." But here's what I took away from it. Ken and I were both at this event. We ended up connecting with one of the main organizers. We
Mhm.
told them what we thought could have been improved. We didn't say what was wrong, but we were like, if you had done this and this and this would have made it even stronger. They agree. And now we might be helping them organize their next big
I
events,
love
and it's
that.
in a
There you
Being
whole
of
go.
nother
service.
country, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes you got to take what you learn and
Yeah.
use it and make it better for everyone.
I think
That's
that's the
and I yeah.
Sorry, there's
Go ahead,
two
Jeff.
things that are really jumping out here for me, and Michael talks about this all the time. Just put yourself in a position to be of service. So
Yes.
and that helps decision making definitely for sure. Because now it's no longer about what I can get from it; it's what can I give to it, and what can I contribute to it. And I think that helps for decision making. And it's no longer about that me, myself, and I. But also on the flip side of this coin, and I have a question for both of you. Do you think the cancel culture that we've sort of come through the other side of it, with people sort of being worried about being cancelled because they've say the wrong thing, do you think that that could have something to do with people not being able to make decisions anymore?
Jeff, you accidentally said cancer culture, and I actually agree. It is a cancer.
Yeah,
Mhm,
and that
mhm,
might be a
mhm.
Freudian slip, right?
But absolutely, because it goes down to the freedom of speech and feeling like you can voice your own opinion. And when you're getting canceled for saying something, it's just like, wait, what? I mean, people are canceling you for the
Right.
dumbest stuff, things that are
Yeah.
misinterpreted or misunderstood. And it's the polarization there. It's picking sides. I recently wrote on my Substack about this, about why I left America. And it has a lot to do with not feeling comfortable enough to just speak your truth or say what you want to say because
Feel
you're
like
going to
that.
get
Yeah.
canceled or judged.
I feel like that in Australia right now. Like, let's
Yeah.
be honest, I want to leave Australia. Like, if I've got to be truthful about it, and I'm looking
You're
to
not the
go,
only
yeah,
one.
go take the kids and go. Let's go travel the world. Why not? But yeah, it's the tall poppy syndrome. It's the cancel culture. It's just this nanny state that we find ourselves in now too. I think that definitely contributes to make it hard for people to make a decision.
But look what you just said, the nanny state. What is that
Mm,
coming from? That's coming
mm,
from people who live in a victimhood mentality
right.
that feel like they need safety and security and someone to create it for them because they're incapable or don't want to create it for themselves. And that's part of the problem. Is it's very interesting. I recently had someone reach out to me on my LinkedIn because they wanted to discuss a post that I had mentioned and they're from Australia and they were feeling trapped and they want to
Mm,
leave. And they said they wanted to go to another country where they felt more safe and they had more like-minded ideas. And I said, "Is it?" And they picked a very specific country. I don't want to say which one it was. But after analyzing what they said, I said, "Is it really that you wanna go to that country because you feel like people are more like-minded, or is it that you just want freedom?"
mm,
And they reassessed and went, "Wow, I never looked at it like that." Because you
mhm,
can go to any country in the world and you're not gonna have freedom. It doesn't
mhm.
matter. There are rules and regulations in every whether you go to the United States, Canada, Thailand, everyone has some sort of rule that you're gonna have to follow. So it's not true freedom. So if you're escaping one place, feeling oppression in one place for another, you're still going to be oppressed in some way, shape, or form. So the freedom has to come from within. And once they reanalyzed that, they went, wow, I need to look at my situation a little bit differently because maybe it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting because it takes that see, I'm getting all casual now, but, people be listening in their cars or whatever, but, I think there is so I'm the only one here who now lives in America, um,
Correct.
and
I'm sorry for
right?
you right now, Michael.
I know, and I'm a happy camper. I love my community. I live in the amazing, and I'm doing what I can for the world from here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I am going to this is where I am. This is where my family is. This is where, everybody I work with. I mean, I work internationally, but at the same time, we are in that really hard time. We are, and I think it's starting to. I think the problem with, not the problem, because people, social media, that's fine, whatever you want to do, but it's because everybody now has an opinion. So almost like wherever you are now, people are. It's always been. It's the it's they're willing to jump in and jump on anything
It's funny you say
because.
that too. I'm noticing even more and more on my content that I put up that, I share it publicly and I share it for a reason, but I'm almost expecting now trolls. Like I'm almost expecting now the negative response. And it's like I'm prepared for it. Like I'll, and come into it with a seek to understand their point of view so they feel understood and all that conversation. But it's funny that I now have to be prepared for that, and not just be, I don't know if that's just part of leadership and growth, it's all part of the journey, but it's
So,
interesting.
great news for you, Jeff. The trolls are what make you go viral.
I know, right?
So, I ran Prince Dash's account. So Prince Dash is a guy who performed with the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. He was huge in the 60s and the 70s and more of the 60s. But still, he was the it guy when it came to music at that time, hanging out with everybody. His name was Prince Dash because they named him Prince Dash because of who he was hanging out with and all the stuff.
Mhm.
Anyway, he owns a castle in Italy. And I went to Italy a few years ago. I started filming, sharing it on social media. Within 6 months, we had almost 1 million followers across all platforms. Okay, so think about that. It blew up very quickly. And what really, really worked for him were the trolls. The trolls were the ones saying, you this, nah, nah, nah. And it made those videos go 7, 8 million views overnight. Well, the community, and I want to go back to something you said, Michael, about where you live, you have a community, and that's so important. The community protected him and they defended him and they were so loving and kind. And whenever the community supported him, his videos did not go viral. They're like, oh, this is so amazing. You're wonderful. You're so great. Da, da, da. As soon as the troll stepped in, I don't like this. The
What does
videos
that tell you?
exploded.
What does
So
that tell you? What does
it
that tell you?
tells you a lot.
Tells
Yeah,
you
But
a
I think
yeah,
lot.
going back
and
to the community,
yeah.
Michael, you love where you're living because you have a community, and that's really important. And not everyone has that because they're so entrenched in social media or being online or self-doubt or communities that they've built that are fantasy communities. Like, oh, I have 1,000 followers on social media. Those aren't real people. That's not a community. So I think it does require that for us to make decisions and actually move forward in our lives and find the new next thing, especially with AI, and people are really relying heavily on that. It is going to require that we build communities and not like minded communities where we become narrow, broader communities where we build relationships and we find love within those relationships and we create bonds that help you grow as a person. And I think that's what's needed coming forth.
1000%.
Yeah, I think that's, we take a look at communities from many different perspectives. Though when you said about having different opinions, I don't know why I suddenly went to the old point counterpoint show, which then brought me to SNL and their whole routine they used to have around that. But if you haven't seen that, you got to watch that. But to me, it's always even though I personally hate conflict. It's within my. You can look at all my enneagrams and all of that. It is literally something that it's just abhorrent to me. Um, but I am enough of a if they take that opinion, I'll take the other one just because I like to stir the pot a little bit and sort of see what happens. Right? It's always fun to do that a little bit. But I do agree because like in my family, right, we used to do this and we talk about this all the time is, my family disagreed about everything. I mean, there was always one part of the, and they'd all break bread. And that's the problem now is nobody breaks bread anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
What's
Nobody
the secret?
comes to the table
Yeah.
because
Exactly.
we
But
used to, yeah, go ahead.
that's fueled. And what people aren't realizing is like this whole politics stuff, it's so ridiculous because what people don't
It's
realize is they're
psyops.
total puppets. They're falling for everything. All this stuff in the news, because, I have residency in the UAE.
Hmm.
I was just there 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago now. My husband Ken was there the week before last. Our friends are get there all the time. We have friends there now. We know what's going on because we're on the phone with these people on the ground asking questions, what's going on. So when you
Community.
hear what's going on in the news and you hear people freaking out and then you actually know what's going on, it's like, okay. It's interesting. When we moved to Thailand, everyone told us, "Don't move to Thailand. It's so dangerous. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. You can't drink the water. It's unsafe." All of these things. Thailand is one of the safest countries, even with a war they had going on with Cambodia. The time when it was at its peak, we were flying from Bangkok to Siem Reap and going on vacation, and it was fine.
Mhm,
And the people in
mhm.
Cambodia were laughing, having a great time. They're like, "Oh, it's really hard right now because we don't have any tourists because everyone's too afraid to come to Cambodia." But what you heard in the news was ridiculous. And the Thai people over here were like, "Oh my God, you're going to Cambodia. It's so dangerous." I can't. No, stop watching the news. Stop listening to what you're
Plug.
hearing.
That's it.
It's baloney. It's not even what
Yeah.
you think it is. And I'm not saying there
Yeah.
isn't stuff going on in the Middle East. I'm just saying there is deliberate ways that they're telling you information to cause an inflammatory response so that you get upset and you pick a side and you stay on that side so they can control you later. And that's what people aren't seeing. And you can fight over this idea forever. But if you look historically, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Uh,
part of it is because you get it, you want it instantaneously. You want to watch all the life stuff going on, and it's not the news, it's all opinion. It's
Yes.
opinion, opinion, opinion. I mean, for me to find, and I'll just flip through because I don't stand any, and I don't really watch much of it. But I'm like, could somebody just tell me what happened today? I don't want any opinion. I don't want,
just want the
uh, you
updates.
know, right. It's like, and again, most of you are not going to be old enough for this, but part of the reason that Walter Cronkite was so big, he just told you the news. Here's the news. Here's how you don't even know what his opinion was. You have no idea.
But that's how it
And
should be.
right, and he and there were newscasters that even would just say, "We're actually this is not verified. We don't know. This is what we've seen. This is what our reporter on the ground has seen." And there was no other opinion. There was nothing else. And that is just, and we're going to run out of time here. We could do this for next time. This is a great, but that's part of this. Everybody has an opinion now.
Yes.
Everybody
And the
wants
sad
an
part is,
opinion.
Michael, people who shouldn't be having their opinions public
I
have
know.
opinions.
Yeah.
I mean, think
Yes.
Yeah.
about,
Everybody's got a voice.
yeah,
Yep.
everyone has a voice. I mean, think about it. 20, 30 years ago, the only people that had voices were famous people or wealthy people, right?
Mhm.
Now, the guy in his basement eating chips and probably hasn't showered in 6 weeks and might have lice has an opinion too.
Yeah.
They do. And it just it makes it is. It's so going back to, and then we'll wrap this up, when people to make decisions, first of all, I like that. Trust yourself again. When you're
Mm.
making a decision, and at the same time, I love the ecological test because it's so simple to me. Is it harmful to yourself or others? If it is, don't. If it isn't, really take a look.
Yeah.
Mm.
And also, as we said, community, whose community do you want to be around? Who do you want around you? And start saying yes to the life again. Life is
Yeah.
Yeah.
about saying yes. Life is about experiencing and going out there. And it's not about taking a risk. That's not the point. It's just living life. And
Yes.
that's what people have just, that's my opinion. See?
You
Um,
know,
but yeah.
it's a beautiful opinion, and I agree with you on that because recently we did a trip to Jordan, and this was before everything is going crazy. This was back in, beginning of the year, and we had a friend who said no to everything from Australia, out of all places, haha, and they finally said yes, and then during the trip, they stopped us and said, "I always say no to you, and this time I said yes, and I'm so grateful I did. I have met the most incredible people. I have seen the most amazing things, and I'm really, really happy I said yes. I'm going to say yes more often."
It's funny
And
you
from
say that.
that, they've met connections and built
Mm.
relationships and have new business opportunities that are incredible because they said yes. So I
Yeah.
think I think this year, this is a big year. I mean,
The year of
2026.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, let's make it the
Yeah.
You
year of
know?
yes. Obviously not for bad things, but yes for the right things.
Well, and here's what I was going to
Yes.
say. The big thing that shifted for me was I used to say no to a lot of things as well. But then
Wait, what did you say? Can you repeat that, Jeff?
I used to say no to a lot of things as well.
No, 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 no,
No, no, no.
no.
But now I say yes until I find a good reason to say no. And
Yes.
so that's been a really yeah, a good yardstick, if you will, a benchmark to just to say yes until I find a good reason to say no. And the good reason to say no is if it's not in alignment with what I'm currently already doing. And I don't
Correct.
think enough people understand what their own mission or vision or what their alignment looks like. And so they're all flapping around in the wind and they're overwhelmed by all these choices because they've got no direction. So let's get some direction. And then when you've got that direction, say yes until you find a good reason to say no.
There you
Yes.
go.
And you know what? I have to add this one thing. So, one of my clients is a president of a Fortune 100 company. She's brilliant. I love this woman. And she says one of the things that's really important for her to be so successful, I mean, she runs billions of dollars in this company. She says she takes time to just think.
Mm,
Every single day, she blocks off time. No devices, no interruptions. She has a sign on her door, do not enter. She just sits there, no music, nothing, just silence for her to think. And that gives her clarity. And the ideas she comes up with are genius. So I think if everyone spent, even if it were just 10 minutes of silent time, and you don't even need to meditate, just use your brain to think without distraction. It just lifts so many things that might be a burden or overwhelming and just frees you to come to that yes much quicker.
That's right. Well, thank you both. It's always enlightening because there's always something to learn. Remember that? And we really want to always have you as a community and part of everything that we do. And everybody out there, I think it's really important at Unmuted that, we're talking about real voices. We talk about getting loud. We talk about really, it's healing too at the same time. So I wanted to thank Jeff and Sandy all the time. You guys are awesome for being on. If you've loved what you heard, share it with everybody, because it's always making a difference for those that you surround yourself with. Put them in the same mind state you are in, and that makes you a better person. That makes them a better person, but be of service. We wanted to thank everybody for spending your time. It's been a great day here at Unmuted. And just I can't tell you how much we cannot wait to next week. We'll be back every week with all of you. If you have any questions, we'll have a place that you can go to. We'll have a place for the show notes, of course, that you can read and join us down the journey. From myself at Unmuted and Sandy and Jeff, we thank you so much. Everybody have a great morning, afternoon, evening. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
thank you.